What's going on, everyone? Let me know if the audio is okay. Once again, now I'm like neurotic about it because that first episode where it was like exploding everywhere, but you let me know. If you're in this chat, let me know that you are ready to go live by typing ready and where you're from in this world, okay, guys? Let me know where you're from. Let me know what's up. And then I'm gonna try to turn on some lights because, you know, we're going live. Why wouldn't we need lights, huh? What's going on from Germany? Jacob, David, Ronald, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, 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 welcome. Beep, beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Look at that, we have lights. Let there be light, there's light. All right, let's swap cameras around. Bada bing, bingo, bango. Boom. And let's take this off of this and what's going on, everyone? Welcome, happy new year. This is the first stream of the new year. And you're part of it. Yeah, whether you like it or not, you're in here, you're part of it. What's going on, Ronald, Jacob, David, Larry, Micah, Mathis? Did I say that right? Mathis? I always see your name in the chat from the Netherlands. I probably never say it right. Lotta, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Look, I had no plan for today, so we're going to just wing it. And that means if you guys have any questions that I can answer, bring them. Let's see if I can do some sort of actual demonstration of it to answer some questions. However, let's say hello to Quinn. We love Quinn. The crowd goes wild for Quinn. Cold in Texas. Is cold in Texas like what, 60? Bro, it is snowing and it is below freezing here. Like, I trudged through the snow for you people today. I don't think you guys get that. You know, uphill with no shoes on, the whole thing. The whole thing. Sweden's in here. All right, ready from Reston, Virginia. Well, Dan, you were here in person. You submitted an image for the Adorama critique with me and Daniel, and thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. I feel like this is a little hot. I don't know why, but I'm gonna dial this down just a touch. Boop. I still haven't put in the new cameras yet. Hold tight for that. I'm gonna get the cages in and and spend like a whole day just redialing the cameras a little bit. So we're still using the Z6 IIs. We will be on Z6 IIIs soon enough. Don't forget to check out this QR code for all of the Adorama events that are coming up. The year is kicking in and we are going full blast. Don't forget, Imaging USA is coming up in Dallas, Texas. So I'll be there, Dane will be there, Joe McNally. I mean, so many people will be there and the Adorama booth will be in full effect, meaning we are doing demos for you guys. So I'll be on that show floor shooting live. And, you know, what's the point of shooting live if you guys don't show up? If you haven't been to a trade show, you're really missing out. I do believe they're very beneficial. There are so many types of them and so many of them, but Imaging USA and WPI are like the two you'll always probably find us at. So there's that. I did bring in something special for you guys. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I don't know. I don't know if you guys are down for this because last week we went and we dug out my 4x5, right? We dug out my Cambo long rail and we adapted my GFX 102 medium format camera to the back and made that full-on large format film camera into a medium format cropped version, 102 megapixels, right? With the Kodak 14-inch lens and the ILX number 5 shutter, remember? Well, I did a little more digging. I always got some stuff. If you guys have ever checked out my personal channel like Twitch or if I was live on YouTube, you guys know that I'm constantly pulling out really random gear that I got laying around from over 25 years of this. I've got some random stuff and I was known around a lot of swap meets, garage sales. I mean, people like, I used to have guys at this one swap meet under the Long Island Railroad that they would hold their cameras for me because they knew I'd probably be the one buying them. And they just wanted me to come back and keep coming back. So this one came from a garage sale. This was some random guy who I think he was a retired cop from what I remember. I bought this in about 2005, 2006. Trying to think when I bought this, but I think I remember the girl I was seeing at that time, so I'm pretty sure this was 2005. And it's such a cool piece of gear. I was like, you know what? If they were into the 4x5, they'll be into this. And again, guys, if you guys have anything you guys want to get into or stuff you're having trouble with technically, throw it in the chat. Let's see if we can talk it out or whatever. But are you guys ready to unbox what's in here? I don't know if you guys are ready for this. I know Micah says he's not worthy. Jeremy, what's going on, man? Been a while. Where you been, buddy? Hey, Ian, Matt Stoltz, what's going on? How are you? No worries. You're never late. As long as you show up, you're never late, okay? And don't forget, these are always available after the fact, which means hit subscribe, okay? We gotta grow this channel. That's the mission, is to grow this channel. And when it gets bigger, we get more resources and we bring you cool, crazy stuff. But we already got demos from Joe McNally, Ab Cisse, Chris Knight, Deshaun. I mean, so many great, Lindsay Adler's on here. There's so many amazing free resources on this channel, including the 42 Lives, which are the brand events where if you have a question for like HP printers, well, they're live and they see you in that chat room. So check out the 42 Lives on this channel as well. Open that box. Please ignore the 7 script. What does that mean? Ready AF. Crime photography camera.
The movie 7.
Oh, the movie 7, right. Oh, gosh. What's in the box? I should have. Well, even though I bought this in 2005, I'm pretty sure this is from the 80s, I believe. It's been traveling for, 40, 50 years to get here, and now it is here. What's that quote from? Yeah, you're never gonna get it. All right, ready, guys? I wanna see everybody typing ready in the chat for me to unveil this. Hopefully it's worthwhile for you guys, but I think it's super cool, and I might even modify it. Not here today, because it's gonna be very involved, but Angel from the used department was like, yo, I think we can swap that thing apart, and I'm totally down to try. If I can make this thing modernized, maybe. The only thing I'm hesitant about is once it's apart, what am I gonna do? So I want you guys to everybody type ready in that chat if you're ready to open up this box. I'm not doing anything till I see readies in that chat. I don't know. I know I'm on a delay, so got Ian, got Matt, got Jeremy, all right. Jacob's ready? Okay. From the garage of a retired police officer here in New York, I bring you a fingerprint evidence camera. What is this thing? What is it? Well, first of all, it is powered, right? Because there's a light source inside here. The cool thing about this, I don't know, can you guys even read that? The cool thing about this is they left their notes on it for all the exposures and stuff. Is that right side up? That's right side up. So it's like really, really right out of a police precinct. And what you do with this is you would load up your pack film, right? FP100C, 669, whatever type of pack, 3000B, whatever you're gonna be using for pack film, the peel apart stuff, right? You lock it down, and then after someone put their hand in ink and made their fingerprints for the record, if you got picked up, you know what I'm talking about? Some people know what I'm talking about in this chat. Then to make a copy of it, they put the fingerprint sheet down, put this over it, power it up, because inside there is a flash. You'd set your exposure to darker or lighter, and you'd hit the button and it'd go click with a flash and it would light the paper. So basically, it was like a self-contained copy stand. And also, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you do have aperture settings. Let me see if I can get inside here for you guys. Can you see? Let me see if it'll focus. Is it grabbing Quinn? Yeah, it's grabbing Quinn. Can you guys see the camera in there? Probably not. I know what I'm gonna do. Here, it's so dark in there. So you can actually set the aperture for that lens to, if you need some more light letting in or whatever. But here's what I did with this thing. A million years ago, 14 versions of Seth earlier than this one, I would actually put this onto people's skin and document their birthmarks, their tattoos, abnormalities on them, and did like a, not macro, but it was kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio, straight up. Actually, it was a 1-to-1. I'm lying there. It was basically a documentation of an anatomical landscape on like a very tight level. So it was abstracting people. And I was really into it. And like I said last week, what you could do was peel it apart, and then I would give them the print. And then what I would have is the part that people usually throw away from the peel apart film. But if you hit that black part with a bleach bathroom cleaner and you scrubbed it, it would turn into a negative. So then I'd have these negatives that I would do all sorts of stuff with: cyanitized, Van Dyke Browns, gum bichromates, man, I did gum bichromates, were tough. Does anybody in this chat even know what a gum bichromate is? I'll be super impressed if you guys know what that is. Either way, this was so much fun to have, and we're thinking we can take this back off and actually somehow adapt this to my GFX. If that's possible, I don't know, but it will be a very cropped image. So I don't know. My other thing is, I don't know if I want to mess with something I can never unmess with. And I just think it's so cool as is, as like a historical piece. It's awesome. I'm so happy with this thing. It was a lot of fun, and it's one of these things that when I found at a garage sale, it was like screaming at me, like, are you kidding me? You are never gonna see me again, buy this. And I got it really, really cheap, because I remember the guy going like, I don't even think you can get film for it anymore. Meanwhile, I have a fridge full of the film, right? And I'm like, yeah, sure, you know? But that's one of the Seth Miranda museum pieces right here. And the shutter release is on the side. Listen to that click. Oh yeah. Actually, why don't we power this up in here and make this thing flash? Product for, it was more of a copy stand. It could only shoot things that were flat, because if anything wasn't completely flat, it'd be out of focus, because it's focused for the exact distance to the flat plane it would rest on, all right? 3D printed adapter, is it possible? I don't know. I don't know enough about 3D printing, I'll be honest with you, you know? That lens says optical on it. Yeah, I know. It's, you gotta realize that they were making these for people that weren't photographers that still needed photographic equipment. What is going on with my phone? I feel like everything's blowing up my phone here. Who knows how many mobster fingerprints are on that? I don't know. Who knows? I wonder if this was always in New York. Like, what if this, you know, went to different precincts all over the country? Who knows? Nothing on it is registered, like there's no badge on it. A long time ago, I had a Graflex 4x5 camera that actually had a badge screwed onto it, like adhered to it. That would be the number that it came from. It was, actually, I think that was from a school, or it was something government. It had a, man, I gotta look for that. Maybe I'll find that next time. But yeah, you could, anything that's flat. So if you wanted to shoot pages out of a book, if you wanted to copy another photograph, I mean, the possibilities, anything that's flat, you go up to a wall and take a picture of a sticker and put it right to film. It was awesome. It was awesome. Let's fire this up. Let's see if I can get this to actually pop some flash. Everybody into this so far? Everybody cool? How's everybody doing? It should be possible to make an adapter with FDM printing. Did that before I had a projection attachment to focus some DIY gobos. I think anything 3D printed will open up a lot of, you know, doors for a lot of things. Let me see, I think is this cart powered? There's a power cable, but there's no cord. Okay, I tell you what we'll do. We will plug this into something that's got power. Happy New Year, Eric. Hope to see you here soon, buddy. Oh man, I feel like it, you want to put a digital back on there and use it as positive digitizer? I mean, look, it's just cool to have something that is like a self-contained copy stand. Anything you put this on, it's going to document, right? I mean, within reason. Think of it like something that doesn't have its own light source, right? So if you're going to shoot something that's backlit, it might not work so well. I don't think I ever tried it on like a TV screen. I should have done that back when the film was readily available. But I was really, really obsessed with putting it onto people's skin and getting what I could out of that. So let's pop this in here. All right, everyone dial 9-1, and if this thing explodes and I go on fire, just hit 1 again, okay? All right, so let's turn this on. Oh, listen to that. That is basically a speed light from that era charging up. Film speed, faster, slow. We'll put slow, that way maybe it gives us more light out of it. Wow, this thing, I don't know if it's, oh, there it is. Anyone with a thyristor flash knows what that sound is. That is a speed light ready to go. I don't know how old this camera is. I just know I bought it in 2005. I'm guessing it's from the 80s. You hear that? So now, let's see if I can get a flash to pop out of here. Boom. So this thing just felt like it kicked. And now it's letting you know that it's gearing up again. Keep in mind, this isn't batteries. This is plugged in. Listen to this. Pretty soon, this thing it's gonna have a flux capacitor, and I'm going back to the future with this thing. But it's just super cool. So now, Let's make the exposure darker. It'll probably give me less of a strobe. Wow, this is, wow. I hope Morris has an EMT in background. Morris was already half retired when this came out new on the market. Let's be real. All right, let's see if I can do it again. So that was with the exposure set to all the way darker. Now I'm gonna put it back to lighter, which will give me more light out of it. So really all this is like a speed light jammed in there at a set distance for the right exposure to then shoot to it's all self-contained, right? Nothing changes. Your distance never changes. Subject to plane never changes, right? Actually, I'm sorry. Subject to camera, which the camera's right here. This is where it's projecting to. So technically, this camera's opening up and projecting a circle of light here to then expose this as your exposure plane. So let's put this back up here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. It's cool, man. It's cool. So inside here, just so you guys know, is a 75mm f3.5 lens. And this lens, I'm gonna say, is basically an enlarger lens, right? So if you're anyone that's ever worked in a black and white darkroom or even a color darkroom, an enlarger is just running the opposite way. It's projecting down through the lens. This is, collecting light. So maybe use it for some funky food photography, maybe. But just remember, anything that's not perfectly flat will absolutely be out of focus. So when I did put this onto someone's skin, right? There's no way their skin was perfectly flat. So there was definitely parts that were soft, and it was kind of dreamlike. It was pretty cool. I really liked, I didn't use it with her, but there were some people I knew over the years that had vitiligo. I think I talked about this with the 4x5, where they lose pigment in their skin and have splotchy. It's just a cool thing to document things like that. So that's really not very juicy flash, but I guess there's a reason for it to be. Well, it doesn't have to be exploding, right? It's in a small box that is that needs to light a subject, what, about 5 inches away, if that. Do you still have an enlarger? Yeah, I actually have a Bessler motorized color enlarger that I used my entire career, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of it because it's one of those things, you're never gonna see again. And anyone that's ever used a color enlarger to print black and white, you never really go back to going onto a black and white enlarger, because a color enlarger has magenta, cyan, and yellow dials that let you really dial in the color, right? Well, if you were to put black and white negatives in a color enlarger, your contrast is your magenta, but then your highlights are dictated by your yellow. And you could really fine tune it. And I'm gonna be honest, I think using a color enlarger for so long in my career, when I was only analog, really led to my habits today where I want to get it done like right there. I'm not looking to tweak to death after the print is out there. I'm not sitting there like coloring things in or potassium ferrocyaniding things away or something like that. Like, I could really dial it in. That's how I want to dial it in. So when I'm lighting something now digitally, I really look for these tiny things that I might have wanted to fix later. I'll do it now. And I'm pretty sure that stems from all the habits I gained using a color enlarger, if that makes any sense to you guys at all. I feel like this chat just went to sleep. It does have a brand name. It's called the EV Cam 3, and it has got a, wow, I can't pronounce that. It says it's from North Carolina, but it's from Searchy Fingerprint Laboratories. So this is probably something that was commissioned by this company with like camera parts from another company, but the lens just says JML on it. I'm not sure what the lens is referring to. Does it still? Yeah, it's totally usable. I still got the clicks, And that was at 3.5, but it does close down to f22. Why would you want that? I don't know. Maybe if you're shooting something that's got some metal sheen to it. But this thing has been sitting here charged the whole time. I don't know if you guys can even see. Can you guys see the blinking lights on that? It's It's pretty cool, right? Out of curiosity, how do you spell search? Sirchie from Raleigh, North Carolina. So, yeah. And there's also these like trap doors everywhere so you can service it or whatever, but it was cool. Have you ever felt it? If you felt the kick when you fire, I'm guessing it's a heavy and slow shot. Yeah, it's definitely not for speed here. It's like ba-bang, you know? I wish, can you guys hear this? Let me see. It's like a gunshot. It's crazy, right? Although, actually, you know what? I'm an idiot. This is why there's different apertures, different speed films. Look, they made notes of it. F11 for certain type films, what was that, 668? Yeah, 668. And 665, they needed, it was probably a higher sensitivity, right? Can you guys see that? Pretty cool, right? So I just wanted to share some toys with you guys. That's pretty much all I can do with this thing though. Actually, maybe we can look in here while we fire it. So that was the shutter opening up. And the shutter is literally just like a ba-blang, like a guillotine, you know? So now, for future reference for all you guys out there, if you have something that's older like this, you never want to let it build power, store in the capacities, and then unplug it and store it forever. You always want to deplete the energy out of your capacitors so that it's in like zeroed out mode. So I'm just going to hit this and I'm going to pull this power cable out, and now it should be completely discharged. So there you go. Look at all these specs you guys got in here. I'll click some stuff. So this is a rotary. Jeez, Ronald, look at this guy. So we've got an aperture range 3.5 to 1222, like I said, voltage 270 volts, 110, which is what it's plugged into, 15 milliamps, trickle charge. Yeah, I'll say a trickle charge. That takes forever to get all the way up, 4.8 volts, and flash duration of 1/5000th of a second, which is actually pretty good, right? Recycle time is 7 seconds though, which is what? Pretty cool, right? I just figured it'd be something cool to bring on here, and mainly because I don't have anything planned today, but I figured we could start there. Could you shoot something with a digital camera without an adapter just for a test? Like, what do you mean, how? No matter what, there's going to be a light leak in this if I put a digital camera to it. There's no point to even trying that. What I'd have to do is get this back off and have some sort of mount system here. And even after that, I can't guarantee you how that's going to work. So I kind of want to leave it the way it is. I don't think me having this digital will change anything for me, but having it the way it was and the original notes on the back that someone wrote on here, think about how many trial and errors that person did, and then they wrote it out and they got this rotting Scotch tape. They got their Scotch tape to make sure nobody messes with it. Like, how cool is that, you know? Sometimes you just gotta leave things alone and just appreciate where they came from and what they are, right? Oh, instruction booklet. Here you go. Instructions, look at this. Look at this. So, actually, is there a date on here? That would be awesome. 1988, I was right, it's from the 80s. 1988. Unpacking, general. They even give you the film stocks and what to do with each film stock, which is cool. These random hands showing you how to use it all, you know? Did you have a look for the power plug, or did things not change? No, this was all in here. Nothing's changed. However, this is what was in here though. This is from the very, very old Polaroid stuff that you would actually have to take the chemical and squeegee it on with these cottony squeegee things. And there'd be these vials of all the stuff. So people would actually store these in these little vials, and they would never fully use them up. So you'd always use them for like the next one, kind of, sort of, maybe, you know? It's just cool that that's in here as well. But yeah, that's the fingerprint evidence camera that I've been holding on to for a very long time. What did I get this? 2005, so we're almost at 20 years I've had this camera. Go fig. And this is definitely not the original case. This is all like foam that someone like cut together and mishmashed a little bit. But whatever, I'll take it, you know? That's cool, definitely try to, yeah, preserve it, right? So. They're not drug vials, stop it. Oh, let me put this back in here. You guys, so how's everybody doing? Is there anything that you guys are stuck on? Is there something that's going on in the industry you want to talk about? I didn't really have a hands-on thing planned. However, I do have something here I didn't mess with, but it's another Profoto thing. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, why is it always Profoto? Because that's what I got around me right now and that's what I use. However, going forward, as we go on with these live streams, I'm gonna be pulling in things that are brand new that we didn't do like a video with, or maybe we did a video with and didn't really hang out with it a little longer, too long. So I'm gonna try to get some stuff that you hear announced, and maybe we'll bring it in on stream. Something that might be like not a full video, like a new modifier or something. Maybe we'll bring that in here, but it's only January 6th. Speaking of which, how many of you guys in this chat are psyched for Monday Night Raw tonight on Netflix? I'm amped. I'm amped, and some of you know. Some of you in this chat know what's up with me in wrestling right now, but I am very hyped. Oh, the link's in my Discord. If you want to join my Discord, go ahead and get that link. Been waiting for a Godox 8600 Pro 2 for about 2 months. Did you try the Flashpoint version of it? Because that might be here. If you're looking for, let me see. Let me see. Evolve 600 Pro. Let's take a look if it's here. I don't know if it says the second version or not. Oh, XPLOR, that's right, it's called XPLOR. I don't even know. 600, XPLOR 600 Pro. What do you know? It's sitting here in stock right here. Free delivery January 8th. So if you're looking for that, check out Adorama. You know, I'll put it in the chat room for you if you want. But you don't got to wait for it. I don't know why you're waiting for it. Just get the Flashpoint version of it. Bing, boom. If it's out of country, I don't know how all that works, but I'm just letting you know that the Flashpoint one exists and it's there. Have you ever shot wrestling? Not for the organizations, but yeah, if I went to a spot, when I was a little kid, I used to go to ECW events a bunch, but I wasn't bringing like hardcore pro stuff there, and I wasn't shooting the way I'm shooting now. But you know, I just shot boxing for the Z6 III video on the main channel, if you remember that. And, but no, not officially, but who knows? That might change this year. Who knows, man? Who knows? All right. Is Flashpoint and Godox interchangeable? Pretty much, for the most part. Something super basic, but I struggle with getting paper background. Hold on. I struggle with getting paper background like yours, clean, not bludgy. Oh, okay. So what's rippled on your backdrops? If your backdrop has texture to it, there's a good chance your paper got some humidity to it and started getting those waves. You know, a lot of it sometimes just the paper's condition. Our paper here is brutally beat up, but a lot of the reason you see texture on a background is one, your subject's closer to it and you're closer to it, making it more in focus than not in focus, right? Another reason is light is going across it rather than at it, which is typical, right? But this is usually why we want to light in zones. So we have, you know, Quinn getting lit, and the light somewhat affects the background, but not so much. And then we light the background how we want to light it, right? Sometimes not at all. We want it to have that fall off. So this is not a crazy question, but we definitely need some more information on how you're lighting this and what your setup is, what your spacing is, how old your paper is, because I'll be honest with you, there's been studios I worked in, and I'm not gonna name the brands, some major brands I worked for that they never wanted to buy paper because they didn't want to spend any money, and the air vents were right by the rolls of paper on the ceiling, and they all got destroyed by whatever humidity was coming out of that vent. So be mindful of that. It's still paper, right? It's still paper. Does Adorama ship outside the US? Yeah, they do. I just don't know the full, details on that, guys. I'm production. I don't know about that stuff. I'll ask somebody. Hey, Shoba, does Adorama ship outside of the US? Yes. Yeah. I just got official word, yes. Not a question, just want to say I appreciate all the videos. No, we appreciate you. Helpful, learned a lot. I've been doing this forever, never stop learning. You and Daniel, great thing. I mean, Daniel's okay. Let's make sure we get the facts right, because we never want to have misinformation on here, right? Daniel is okay. I can't even do this. No, guys, you don't forget, this is a 50-50 partnership. We can't do this. We can't get the resources to do this without you guys being part of it. And like I said last time, no matter how many parts or pieces I add to this, you're the final part. Even if it's just online, you're part of this, guys. You're part of it. Hey, what's up, Brad? Welcome. What's your take on a small compact consumer cameras like the Lumix S99 making a comeback? It feels like the next photography trend to come after film revival. Well, I think what happens with anything, right? We had, what, 15 years of phone photos? People are looking for something else. And a lot of people that are really gravitating to the small compact cameras are looking for that quote unquote vintage feel of early 2000s, late 90s, lower resolution, you know, something that's fun to actually interface with, pull out at a party, take pictures. You know, you see a lot of people with handy cams now, DV tapes. You know, people just want to recapture things from an era. And don't forget about how many iconic images were out there shot in that format from those eras, right? I mean, some of the biggest photos that are being circulated right now, like one, for example, is a picture of the cast of Friends the night before the premiere because it was the last time they were anonymous. And it was like them all together right before they were overnight sensations. Well, that was technically not a great looking image, but emotionally and historically, it's so deep. It's so it's amazing, right? And not to mention, there's a whole thing to be said for images being honest and genuine and believable. When you shoot with a low res, quick grab camera, the polish is gone and the viewer feels like they're really a part of it. And I totally understand some younger generations coming up right now that never lived with those cameras, looking at all the options we have and getting fatigued from all the options we have and from all the high quality we have, and just wanting that feel, just wanting that, like, it's not perfect, but to them it's perfect. You know, like there's something to it. And don't forget, you know, they're trying to emulate something that maybe they are inspired or aspire to be, like old, you know, celebrities or things their parents showed them and they want to emulate what their parents are doing. Just like in my generation when I was coming up, yeah, digital was flying in, but we were all scrambling to get film cameras and analog stuff and cooler type gear that people might not have and make something that looks different from the guy next to us, right? That'll always be a thing, you know? I think that's why you're also seeing that direct on-camera flash look being so popular right now, is it's just so honest and raw. You know, there's no polish, there's no divide between the viewer and what's really happening there. You feel like you're part of it as a viewer, and it just gets you back down to basics of, no, this isn't produced, no, this isn't polished, we're on the same level, although they might be someone that's like a celebrity and they're like, whoa, you know? I hope that makes sense, but it's also just super fun, man. Do you remember when we used to just have fun taking photos? Remember that? Instead of people doing autofocus battles and resolution wars and all this stuff. Like, no, forget about it. Just grab something and go shoot. How much do you miss that, right? But we get so stuck on just specs and hype, and we don't actually go worrying about shooting so much or what we're shooting so much. Whatever you got, just pick it up and let's go. The most valuable thing any camera can have is you wanting to pick it up. I don't care how hardcore specs are in whatever camera or whatever YouTuber told you this thing's the best thing ever. If it doesn't work for you, if that interface doesn't make you want to go shoot, it doesn't mean anything. So like I always say, forget about the hype. Don't buy into hype. invest in yourself, right? That's what the ethos of this space is, you know? Speaking of which, the photo critique for this month is up and live. You guys can come be part of it on, what date is the critique, do you remember? 18th, 22nd? 22nd, I think. January 22nd, which again, isn't streamed and is totally free. So we're doing this for you guys. My high school daughter uses one of my old, and this funny thing, she uses her phone to take photos of her. I can't see anything. So there's like a light right in my face. It's funny how there's a light right in my face, yet there's no light in my face because I always have to get underneath it to read what I'm doing. My high school daughter uses an old point and shoot, and the funniest thing is she uses her phone to take photos of her using the camera. Yeah, well, that's kind of part of it, right? Is they just want to feel like, look, there's people that have bought extremely hard to get cameras out of Adorama. We're in Adorama right now, right? Like you guys are looking at me in, whoop. Did I lose camera 5? What happened here? What happened here? I guess I lost camera. Oh, I didn't plug in the power. I'm a schmuck. You're looking at me inside Adorama right now. I see people all the time buying really hard to get cameras sometimes just to be seen wearing them. It's believe it or not, as much as this is a craft and everything, it's still a culture to some degree. I lost my mouse. Are you doing Capture One classes? Do you mean like, I might be doing a demo at their booth at Imaging, but I don't formally do any Capture One classes. No, I just use the software, but I don't think I'm in any position to teach someone the ins and outs or proper use case of it, because I definitely have bad habits and no one should follow me when it comes to that stuff. I've been shooting portraits with the Nikon D80. Wow. That's a CCD sensor lately, and I don't know why I bought the new stuff. Look, if it has a quality to it, you know, right now we use CMOS sensors, but if you ask Daniel Norton what Leica he has, his Leica is a CCD sensor that takes like one photo to fill the buffer. But he loves it because there's a quality to it. There's a type of look to the image. And that's what I think a lot of people that don't actually spend time deciphering why they like an image or what they're getting out of their equipment, they don't, you know, all we hear about, like when a new lens comes out is, whoa, what's the bokeh like? Bro, how does it render color? Is it warm? Is it cooler tone? Yeah, the bokeh, but how fast does it fall off? Is it sudden? Does it have nice roll off? Like, people have to notice the little subtleties to appreciate what they're putting out there, you know? But if you're expecting your image to go up to Instagram and you go, how come no one noticed I used this big expensive, shut up. No one's looking at what lens they're just understanding somehow if they like the image or not. Our job is to get the subtleties that we want to the forefront and deliver the work we want to put out there. Whether we gain an audience for it is another story, right? Can happen to find a camera in my local store, Reiko GR3. Okay. The GR3s, I think the one with the diffuser filter isn't so hard to get. The one with the ND in there might be a little rough right now. I just lost what I was going to put up here. We usually like, what just happened? We usually like soft light for close portraits, but is it reasonable to go to a little harder to get full length fashion shots by pulling the light further back? Let me read that again. We usually like soft light for close portraits, but is it reasonable to go a little harder to get? Oh, so look, if you're keep in mind that when you're doing a full length shot, when we're filling the frame with our subject, right? Like when we're doing this, right? There's no escaping Quinn in this situation. This is, the whole image is that face. When we start pulling back, the face becomes 10% of the image instead of 75% of it. So now, are they gonna notice that crazy hard shadow that might not be the most flattering? Or are they really taking the entire model, the entire subject, what they're wearing, what their posture is like, what their demeanor is like, what the mood of the image is like, what the scene they're in is like, right? So yeah, you can pull back your lights a bit to get them out of frame if you want. And if it's in a controlled studio setting, you can even shoot it and then edit them out afterwards if you really wanted to. But don't be afraid to pull your lights back. Yeah, it's gonna get harder. The light is gonna get harder. Your shadows are gonna get more definitive. The shadows are gonna drag a little longer. Your textures are gonna go up a little bit, but also learn how to deal with that. Fill in that light, change the angle. But just remember, the beauty part of it gets less domineering of the image when you're doing a full body, right? It's just, you know, what it is. The frame goes from 75% their face to 10% just their face. But then the image changes overall as well. What is the image? Is it the outfit? Is it the scene? Is it the mood? Is it like, what is it? And then start working the image down that type of thought process, you know? And yeah, that's true. Pavel's right. For the hard light could be beneficial to show the structure of fabric, which is great for details on buttons. You see the yarn, the stitching, you see what type of fabric it is. You know, yeah, it absolutely can be beneficial. In fact, a lot of times when I am asked to shoot something more fashion, I will light the outfit separately from the face, where I'll use a harder light for the outfit and end up doing another zone just for the face. And then you start working with the model to know face towards, you know, this setup, and then work the body towards another. I did a work for a hosiery brand a million years ago, and they were like, we need to see sheen. I want to see shine, pop, pop, pop. And I needed hard light to make it reflective and kick. Well, that hard light was only for half of the subject, and the other half I lit separately, you know? Cool. We're kind of rolling here, guys. I got a T70 from my dad. Should I buy film and trade some product photography? Yeah. Listen, just go buy film. What's the harm of throwing a roll of film out there, right? Get it, put a roll of film in there, keep it with you. Think about your shots a little more. Go get a process, take a look at those prints, you know? I still use my D200 for landscapes. So a long time ago, the D200 was actually the first digital SLR I went and bought. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this. It just felt like I couldn't escape the digital world that everything was moving into. And all the commercial jobs that I was trying to get were looking for digital formats. And I was like, could you wait a week for me to scan it? And they were like, no, dude, you know, it just wasn't gonna happen back then. I watched you and Gabrielle this AM. Amateurs should get a friend to dress well and apply makeup, get a reflector, flash, and go out for several hours for fun. How about this? Get a friend and go shoot. Who cares? How about you document your friend for the way they dress, how they do their makeup, or how they don't do their makeup, or exactly how they are at that point in their life. And then you'll be surprised that 10, 15 years later, they're glad they didn't over polish and you shot them for who they are, right? Think about that. You're shooting, if you look at those shots with Gabrielle in the video that I put on my channel this morning, she's actually not wearing much makeup, if any at all, in the first, I think the first segment. But the reality is, don't be afraid to just go shoot. You don't need all of it. You don't need to worry about everything. You can just go, hey, I've known you for like 10 years. Let's go hit the street and maybe I can make portraits that portray the person I've known for all this time, who I consider a friend. Go shoot. That's the moral of the story. Go shoot. Have you ever tried a Godox umbrella softbox? I don't know. I don't know. Umbrella softbox? Do you mean an umbrella with a sock on it? I'm not sure what you're referring to be honest, but probably, or some version of it. All right, cool. So anyway, the thing I have here that I haven't even messed with yet, that's been sitting here for a minute, are these Profoto Softbox collapsibles that I was like, you know what? Let's take a look at these for a second. So the new, you know, the way we're doing softboxes in this era, with the speed ring attached, and you know, boom, we're clicked in, got our deflector plate in there. Now here's the thing, beauty dishes are like, I'm very specific about beauty dishes. What I will say is, I don't care what a modifier is called, I care what it does and what the results are, and then I will shoot according to that, or look for it when I'm looking for that when I'm shooting, right? So when you look at an actual hard beauty dish that's not collapsible, this is the mega difference, is how flat and shallow this is compared to bell-shaped, you know? And it's actually a pretty stark difference. What we are talking about now with beauty dishes in this era, we kind of call anything with a deflector disc in the middle there a beauty dish. And to me, I don't know if I would call them beauty dishes, but they definitely do something. And what that is let you get a light close and block the hottest part of the light. With a beauty dish like this, which this is one of my favorite dishes of all time, because it's so flat and shallow, you're getting a wall of light, like an even hit. And you'll even notice it on the way it falls off of a background. So how about I just take a shot with each one of these and we actually look at how they're kicking light, because you're gonna see a difference in this. You guys into that? We'll do that. Any advice for first studio portrait photo shoot? I've taken lighting classes and practiced on my own, but this is my first session with a model. Yeah, don't be a creep. No, the reality is you're gonna not know where to start. And I'm just gonna tell you, go start. Before they get there, take some test frames, try it on yourself, and see what you like and don't like. If there's someone that you know and that isn't an actual model, like it's just somebody that you're asking to be a model, take your time, take a shot, really look at that image. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to change? How do we change it? You know? But the reality is, when you are doing your first shoot and you working with a model, don't ever think you're overdoing the professionalism, right? Watch what you're doing with your hands. Watch your body language. Watch your demeanor. Always keep talking to them. Let them know that they are part of it, right? Let them be clear with direction of what you're looking for, what they can give you, what you're trying to get out of this shot. And if you're not really sure what you're doing, be open to collaboration. If it's a model that shoots with a lot of people, listen to the way they say, like, you know, actually this side kind of works a little better. Hey, I brought this dress that works better like this. Hey, why don't we try a coat? You know, listen to them. Don't fight the collaboration if you yourself aren't sure, right? And in the end, just remember, anything you're gonna do that's involving them, ask. Hey, do you mind if I just move your jacket a little bit? Hey, or ask them, hey, can you move your hair? Like, don't put your hands near them, okay? I don't care what anyone says. Always be overcautious with that. Check in if they want water, see if they need a break, if they're standing for too long, right? If the lights are bothering them in some way, you know, just keep checking in, make sure they're all right, but don't let that inhibit you from shooting, because I think some people you'll break the vibe of the chemistry you have with your subject, and you're like, but don't, for your first one, just be aware of that. Why is my phone, every time I'm live, look at this, what is this? Jeez, man. All right. Speaking of what modifiers are doing, did you watch Anthony? Nope, I did not. Does the look of the beauty dish softbox even look remotely similar to traditional beauty dish? It can, but if you're like really sensitive to the way beauty dishes come off, and this is gonna sound egotistical, as a guy who shot commercial makeup for forever, I'm pretty sensitive to the way I want a beauty dish to hit, how I want it to fall off, how I want it to be even. It's a hard light source that's gonna give you texture, give you structure, let you get it in there close and have faster fall off to define structure. And you're gonna see differences. Whether one's better or worse is not a thing. It's not a thing. What is it doing? Do you like what it's doing? What is it doing? How do I use what it's doing, right? If this is what this thing does, you know, if I pull a red crayon out, I'm not gonna go, man, how do I make this thing blue? It's like, no, this red crayon is very striking. I'll use it here. I'll use it for this, right? Same kind of idea. What does this hammer do? Well, I'm not gonna hammer down this screw, but I can definitely get a few nails in there, right? Like, really start looking at what your tools are doing and how you would apply them is a big, big deal. All right. Do you prefer textured beauty dish or flat and shiny? I've seen loads of different textures and I think it's very interesting. So typically a beauty dish, like an actual straight up, you know, legacy beauty dish is not textured really, right? It's smooth. Because especially if it's silver, you kind of want that hard specular highlight to hit where you want it to hit. With textures, is this one textured? I think it is, right? No, this one's smooth too. With textured ones, they kind of break up the pattern of light, not pattern, the direction of the light. so that there's a better chance you don't get like as stark of a specular highlight. It's very subtle, sometimes non-existent, but that's kind of the idea behind that. Do you prefer high-speed sync or ND filters when shooting strobes during a sunny day with fully open primes? Well, I don't really shoot like that to begin with. And it's just not something I go after. My usual look if I'm outside is there's a reason I'm in that location, and I don't want it to be 1.2 blown out to hell and people don't even understand where we are and it becomes an abstract background. But if you are shooting like that, I go to high speed sync first if I have a light that has enough power to handle the situation I'm in. And then if I'm finding that I'm still running into problems, you can lean on an ND. But an ND can change the color of your shot depending on which one you're using. So it's another variable I don't like to throw in there. Years ago, we had to worry about that, but it's so much easier to just automatically go into high speed sync and then figuring out from there that it's like, why not? Most cases, if you're using a small strobe, like something 100 watt seconds or lower, it's gonna be tough and you're gonna be putting those strobes closer and closer to your subject just to milk all the power you can out of them. But if you're rocking something like a 500 watt second light, you got more of a fighting chance for sure. So, and we're seeing more and more higher powered strobes coming out to market, right? So we're gonna be seeing a lot more situations where high speed sync isn't such a hill to climb either, you know? All right. Is everybody all right with this? Like answering stuff on the fly like this, I'm just trying to like, and yeah, so if this is, if he's saying start with symmetrical light as in a response to the shooting with a model first time, you can, if that's the way you want to see things and then understand where you want to modify things. A typical way a lot of people from a textbook would, we're going to talk about that, Pavel. So a typical way a lot of people would start off is they do a symmetrical light and the wider side of the face, you would let go to shadow so that it would be more symmetrical to the left, to the more narrow side. So if she's completely symmetrical, so it's not going to work here, but if her wider side is her left side, I would light from this side, let this go to shadow, so it would narrow out that face, giving her more of a balanced look. And that's supposed to be, quote unquote, more appealing, you know, but that's kind of like a very, very like old school kind of way of doing it. And hey, it works, right? So Pavel's saying, use global shutter. I wonder if we'll do automatic adaptation of flash to camera for, I don't know what you're saying there, but just so you understand, global shutter with strobe, you're going to be sitting there trying to figure out when the highest peak of the strobe is in picoseconds to then sync it the right way. Yes, you can get it to kind of hit and not be particular, but go research the sub-menus to the flash sync in a global shutter camera and see that when you have a bell curve, because that's how strobes work, right? The strobe is fired, here's the peak, and then it dies off. And this is all in milliseconds, right? That's why we have flash duration. And so if you're doing global shutter at high shutter speeds, you then need at say 5,000th of a second, you need to then sit there and trial and error till you get the picoseconds dialed in to be at the top of the bell curve to even make the exposure you're looking for. So everything has some sort of, I say trade-off to a degree, but more of a workflow that you're gonna have to adapt to. And global shutter and anything, I don't care what technology or spec that anything is out there, from leaf shutter to focal plane to stack sensors to electronic shutters, whatever's out there, there is some sort of caveat as much as there is a benefit. And we're seeing that over and over again, right? And we're getting closer and closer to things, you know, caveats go away, but then technology changes and we're back to another trade-off, right? So it's tough. I think we just hear all this stuff, especially from like YouTube titles and all that stuff, and we go, oh, that must be a thing, and then people just repeat it. But if you really slow down and just every time something new comes out, ask what the trade-off is. Because before you go buying something based on what you're told, go figure it out for yourself a little bit, okay? And global shutter is amazing in certain situations and very, very certain niche situations that you couldn't do other things, or you couldn't do it with other things. But there's always something, guys, you know, and now we're finding dynamic range and, you know, high ISO things with global shutter. But if that's the next technology, it's gonna take a minute to mature a little bit, right? You know. All right, let's do a real quick. What am I doing? Let's do a real quick shot with Quinn using the silver beauty dish, and you'll see if it's like even or whatever. And keep an eye on the background, because that's what I'm. And I have not tried these out. I do not know what's going to happen back to back here, but keep an eye on the background is what I'm going to say, because I think that's where you're really going to. Let me make sure, because I'm using a different camera today. Let me make sure it's because last time I was on it, I was like, what was I shooting, JPEG and RAW at the same time or something stupid? So I am on RAW plus JPEG again, see? All right, let's take it off of auto white balance, that might help. And everything else looks good. So let's do this. All right, let's take a quick black frame. Make sure that we're gonna do a black frame in here with the settings we want. So at this case, I'm gonna do f8 200 at ISO 100. See if we get a black frame. Oh, yep, allow. And then we're going to throw in the strobe, and we will trade off between the traditional beauty dish, which is a personal fave of mine, and this bell-shaped collapsible, which is a good option if you need it out there, but you know, it's not gonna be the same if it's shaped differently. It's just what it is, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. Turn this Profoto B10X Plus on. I'm gonna turn Quinn a little bit so she's facing the strobe a little bit, so that way we can see the side of her face and how it really falls off instead of like straight forward, you know? All right, here we go. Oh. I would set this up overhead symmetrical, but I think you're really gonna see more as it going past the face. Does that make sense to you guys? Are you guys into this? Do you guys wanna do this? I'll throw this beautiful beauty dish on here. Put the light on, why not? Let's see. This is not how I would like this, but whatever. Let's see how this goes. All right. All right, here we go. What happened to you? Oh no. She's cracking a little bit. I think it got so cold in here, the paint's cracking on her a little bit. All right, so let's shoot with the strobe off. Wow, I actually still see her. There's a, let me turn off the modeling light. Duh. Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll do that. All right, so we are looking at a black frame, right? Cool. Now, let's turn on my strobe. Put it on TTL, because why not? Take a look at her. And I'm gonna shoot it a little wider because I really wanna see what's going on with that background. So this is with a beauty dish, traditional, right? Now, let's swap off, not move the light, swap off. Let's put on the more bell-shaped collapsible. I'm trying to be super careful with my beauty dish because somebody's been denting it, and his name is Daniel Norton, but somebody's been denting it a little bit. One thing that's different about this is that I can actually zoom it. With a traditional beauty dish on Profoto, it goes and it stops. Here, I can actually completely kind of zoom it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it flush to the speed ring so it mimics the same that we had on the traditional. But I don't know, let's see what this does. Let's do it. Where are we going here? Boom, okay. So let's do this. What's up, Eric? You guys see that background? And do you see how her cheekbone, look at the cheekbone, right? This is traditional beauty dish. This is the bell shape. So yeah, they're both blocking the hottest part of the light, but also look over here. See this compared to this? The hard beauty dish is a flatter, even bang. Something with a bell shape is going to kind of narrow that beam down, right? And when you do that, see that I tell you watch the background? See that? See that? So not that one's worse than the other, but understand what your tools are doing so then you know where to apply them, right? Kind of makes sense, right? What do you do? What's up, Eric? You just hanging out? You want to come on stream? You want to go live? Oh, look at this guy. Guys, this is a regular here at the event space. Come over here. Taking his jacket off. I was just gonna say hi to people. What's going on, man? Check one, check. Yo, man. This is Eric Bird that you always see in the chat. This is him right here. Come in here. It comes in like this. Comes to everything. We appreciate this guy. Without guys like this, we can't do this. We can't do this. So when you guys see Eric Bird in the chat, this is my man right here. You've been shooting, what are you shooting, headshots now? What are you doing?
Freelancing, street.
More events?
Street photography events, yeah, headshots, and photo shoots.
All right, what's your social? Shout out.
eCityNYC.com. That's ECITNNYC.
There you go. Go give my man a follow. Just wanted to give you some props, man. You always come out here follow and support. I'm going to give you some support. There you go. So we see Eric Bird in the chat. This is him. How you doing? You all right? Yeah. Do you need anything?
Yeah, Teresa hit me up saying that the camera's supposed to be ready today.
Oh, I don't know. Ask Akiva.
Yeah, Eric, right? Hey, okay.
So Eric's here because he's picking up a camera he won at one of the events. He's actually picking up right now. This is pretty cool, actually. But go give him a follow, say what's up to him, all right, guys? Look at this. Oh, everyone's saying hi to you. Look at that. You're going to be famous overnight, man. I'm not famous. He's not going to be. Okay. Let's go back to this. You see the difference, right? Right? Look at how deep that cheekbone gets. So when I look at beauty dishes, or if they're calling them beauty dishes, I definitely look at how flat they are. And that's a real telltale for me. Profoto is calling this a beauty dish, but I think in the end, you're just going to get that, what camera did he win? A Canon, I want to say a Canon R100 or something. Regardless, a camera's a camera, right? So he just got, he was actually shooting, I think on a Rebel. So he just basically got an upgrade to mirrorless just for coming and hanging out. He also won a Wacom tablet, by the way. Beauty dish seems to have less wrap. Which beauty dish? So on the left here, this is traditional. On the right, this is collapsible, right? But keep in mind, this is not like a collapsible versus hard beauty dish. No. Keep in mind that, dude, this is a completely different shape, right? This is a bell. This is deep, you know? This could also definitely change if we had a 360 bulb, like a bulb that's actually not recessed or flat, right? What do you call it? Oh my God. Not exterior bulb. Wow, I'm blanking, guys. I'm sorry. External. Did I say external? No, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, like a pack head or pro head. It could change as well. But in reality, when you're looking at your modifiers, make no mistake, guys. Like, look, if I take if I move this over so you can really see it, right? Let me move this over. When you really see it, do you see that background, that top right corner, right? So if you're asking me about moving back and getting more of a full body, this is something I would keep in mind about that modifier. And it might be cool. Maybe I'm looking for that type of fall off of my background, you know? Norton says the dent adds character. It does. Look, I know we sound crazy. The dent in Daniel's, that dented, banged up, probably ovalized at this point beauty dish that me and Dan use at our studio, that's Daniel's dish, but there's something about it. I cannot explain it. There's something about that beat up dish that looks amazing. And it led me to buying my own beauty dish. And as beautiful as I find this thing to be, there's just, maybe it's a placebo, and you know what, if it is, let me dream, okay? But as beautiful as this is, I still, if I see them both sitting there, I'm grabbing the banged up Legacy. There's something weird. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but that's the reality of it, you know? What happened to this camera that it blinked out? Why did you shut off? All right, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Something probably got unplugged. The light is probably bouncing off the deck just perfectly, yeah. No, it's this magical brown tape that we don't know where it came from sitting there on the, if you look at it, there's this weird, ugly brown gaff tape stuck to it. I have no idea where that came from, you know? Exposed bulbs, I'm trying to remember, why am I blanking so bad? It's like a bare bulb, you know? Because technically, a Profoto strobe like this, technically this is not bare bulb. Technically, this is a built-in reflector, technically, and a frosted lens. That's why a lot of people that shoot them basically raw, as you would call it, like Joe does a lot, they still look good. But bare bulb really means a bulb that's out of the head that can expel in 360 degrees. And some people really prefer that. I know Ab Cisse is a big believer in that. And I get it. He uses big modifiers and all sorts of stuff. So there's a company who did, okay. How long have you and Daniel had the studio space? I've seen it there for a long time on your content. Daniel has got to have been there for like a couple decades at this point, I think, you know? I joined officially, probably like 8 years ago, I joined the studio, but I would always just jump in there and use it with Dan anyway. So it was like, you know, extruding. Yeah, I don't know, I'm blanking. I'm also like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like crashing. I have no coffee around me and it's driving me nuts. This is just room temperature, sort of weak green tea. I don't know. You want to see it zoomed? Okay, let's try it zoomed. So this is with it flush to the speed ring. Let's push it straight up to the deflector disc, right? So where are we going? All right, that's as far as it goes. Actually, I wonder if we can see it. I wonder if we can see it in the modeling light. I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference, to be honest. But let's see. Let's see. All right, so this is with it pushed all the way forward. Let's take a shot. They're probably going to give me a copyright strike for that now. All right. I'll shoot it the same way relatively. Okay, so that zoomed all the way. Zoomed all the way on the right. Flush to the beauty dish. I'm sorry, flush to the speed ring on the left. So yeah, the fall off on that right corner, but also look at, actually, yeah, look at her cheekbone. Big difference. Look at that. And you know why that is, right? It's similar to that edge mask we did in episode 1. It's reaching around that deflector disc. So yeah, we're seeing deeper features. Even the eyes get a little bit more deeper. So yeah, the zoom does something. I'll tell you, if it's this drastic, that's pretty cool, man. You know what? I'm kind of feeling this. Okay, let's do a symmetrical shot straight up, and let's do a symmetrical shot with the modifier zoomed. You guys into that? Let me know. Because now that I just did that, we're seeing another option of control here that I don't think you would see you know what? Damn you, Profoto. Let's do this. Let's see what a symmetrical shot looks like, and let's see if we can like drag some features out of her face a little bit, all right? You digging the one on the right? Yeah, I get it, yeah. Because when you're shooting with a beauty dish, you're trying to dig into those features and you're really trying to drag them out with those shadows. And when you have that much control, that's nuts. That is probably like 4 inches of travel, maybe? I mean, that's awesome. All right, let's try this. Let's try this symmetrical. Let's try it. Compare the second shot with the metal beauty dish. All right, give me a second. I got stuff in my hands, Jeremy. This isn't all about you, Jeremy. Let's see. I cannot get a grip on anything right now. There we go. All right. Let me put on this. Whoop. What did I just not tighten? What? Oh, I didn't tighten this. All right. Cool. Let's do a symmetrical. See if we can drag some shots. See if we can drag some tech. Okay. So let's start with it to the dish. Okay. I wouldn't zoom it out more than this because then you have no bite on the actual thing. However, one thing to note, easy to pack, lighter weight, less worrying about the rigging it because all that weight is like, it's so small compared to an actual hard dish. But just for Jeremy over here, this was the hard dish. This is the hard dish is looking a little similar, right? But the hard dish, again, look at the background. Hard dish and zoomed in on the right. The background gets more spread, more of an even wall of light. Here, yes, we're dragging shadows, but the peripheral is not happening. There's no size to this box. It's just the Profoto collapsible beauty dish that they just put out. So let's do the symmetrical stuff. Let's figure this out. First of all, this is absolutely more protrusion than the flat dish, which in my head, this would probably be even closer to my subject than I would on the flat dish. Because look how much, can you guys see how much? I mean, that's crazy. This is like 2 beauty dishes. So this is already moving my light farther back than I would normally do with a hard dish to start with, right? Something to consider. And that's gonna change my fall off. That's gonna change my beam angle. That's gonna change my power output, right? This is the silver one, guys, silver. So let me get this like somewhat. Also, I gotta say it's a little weird putting in my head that I'm shooting with a beauty dish, but there's flat points on this. So it's like my head's a little like, wait, what? All right, so let's take a look at this. Bada bing. Let's take a TTL exposure. I'm gonna put this light right in the middle. Let's take a look. Okay, so that's TTL. That's really nice light though. I gotta say, that is really nice. Look at how, like, basically perfectly sculpted out she is, right? This is an amazing starting point. Wow, actually, this is really, really nice. Look at how perfectly even that fall off is on both sides of the face. Perfectly even. Okay, now, let's zoom it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna push the light all the way up to the deflector dish. Let's see what the difference is. Be good, man, enjoy the camera, right? Eric Bird has left the building. All right, let's see this. All right, what are we looking at? Not that drastic, but there is something happening, but it is like crazy subtle, guys. Crazy subtle. Crazy subtle. However, if I were to drag this beauty dish farther away from her, we would drastically pull those shadows. So let's say I'm in a situation with a low ceiling. I can't pull it farther away. You're getting a little bit more bite out of it, all right? So let's pull this farther away with it zoomed, and you're gonna see it drag those shadows pretty hard. Let's see what happens here. All right. Let's take a look. Now we really drag those shadows, right? Boom to boom. Look at that. Look at how drastic that is. And I moved it probably 1.5 feet, right? I'm pulling it, right? But now look at how we're almost losing it to the shadow, right? Her jawline to her throat, right? Okay, so now let's unzoom it at this distance and see what we get. Of course, now that I say that, the light is too high for me to reach, but we're gonna fix that. You guys all right in there? Everybody good? Let's see. All right, so now it's unzoomed. Let's see what happens in an unzoomed state. I'm not gonna call it zoomed out because now it's like where a beauty dish would be, so I call it unzoomed. And now let's see what this looks like. So this is, actually that's a pretty good difference. Look at the cheek. Look where it hits and falls off comparatively. Look at the lip, right? There's a difference there. The depth of the shadow is different, right? So having that extra bit of control is kind of cool. In this situation now, let's put on the traditional beauty dish. Let's do that. Also, just so you guys can see this, because I just want you to realize what I like about the new style boxes with any brand is that you can basically just kind of get them out of your way if you needed to. You know, it's kind of cool. Let me shut this off. Let me take this down. Now let's put the traditional beauty dish on from this distance. Everybody good? Everybody good? Talk to me, goose. Talk to me, babe. Talk to me, babe. All right, let me turn this back on. Now, same distance as the collapsible, but notice how the collapsible was out to here and now we're back here, right? There's a difference here. Let's go here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Look at that background, guys. The light spread is absolutely different. That light spread is different, right? But I will say on the face, relatively the same. You can even see that the distance of this shadow right here is almost the same. So our shadow pattern on our subject are basically identical, but the spread globally to background, different, right? Now let's throw a curveball at this. Let's throw the grid in the hard beauty dish. And this is gonna make a massive, crazy difference. And I don't even know if there's a grid for the collapsible one yet. I haven't seen it, I don't have it. It could exist. Come on. There we go. All right, we're gonna lose a lot of light, but we're gonna narrow down the spread of light. So let's take a look at what happens now. Bada bing, where's my camera? Bada boom. Let's take a look at her. Hey girl. Now we're back to where the zoomed beauty dish, oh geez, oh no, I'm on. Where the zoomed beauty dish is looking, right? So the grid kind of is giving us a similar feel to the zoomed beauty dish. However, if I were to take this gridded beauty dish, move it in closer, right? If I move it in closer, gridded, still even, dark background. So we're kind of flipping the same coin here. But I do think, in the end, the harder beauty dish is giving you an overall straightforward direction light. I feel like I need a bigger stool knowing how tall Seth is. I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1". She's like 5'11", I think. Something like that. I forgot what her stats were. If you move the model light closer to the background, will you get more background exposure? Keep in mind we're in zones, right? So if she goes back here and the background and her are in the same zone, the power of my light goes up trying to light that zone. So yeah, the background will be brighter, but she's gonna be physically closer to it, and we're gonna have to put out more power on our strobe. Makes sense? What time are we at? Oh wow, we are way over time again. Way over time. Way over time. We've marked your ticket as resolved. Um, 6'1" on the internet is like 5'11". What does that even mean? Oh, because of like camera angles or whatever. Like this angle, look, I know that the lighting to this camera is not ideal. It was really designed for this, for people that are here, and also to not hit the back wall so that the projector can project, you know? What's the difference between her and the background? I'd say about 4.5 feet, give or take. So, I mean, look, if we put her all the way back here, right? I put her all the way back here, and I'm gonna take this shot with the grid on, just so that we do, just to do it. Why not? It's already on there. Look at that. She's in the same zone as the background, but look, that deflector dish completely being darker than the rest of her, right? If I take this grid off, actually what I should do is raise it, but because now it's hitting like this. Are you guys seeing this? Because now the light is hitting like this. So I'm actually gonna change this, lift it up. Let me see. I feel like I'm rusty. I feel like I'm so rusty. I don't know what it is. Let's take that shot again. What just happened here? See how much different her face is? See how much it came up, right? Now, let's take out that grid. And you'll see that it's just like this, like wall of light kind of feel. But even, right? Even. Right? Pretty much even, right? Let's close this out. I'll put on the soft beauty dish again because why not? Oh. Everybody good? It's not that I love doing this, that's why we're going over time. I just feel like you don't just end a conversation, you know, mid-sentence, and we're in the middle of something here, you know? But I also keep saying to myself, if I don't know what I'm gonna do here for the stream, we'll figure it out and we'll find it, right? So let me take a look at you. Okay, nothing's changed. Same pitch, same distance, all that stuff, all right? All right, let's do this. Pretty similar, although look at the top of that frame, falling off pretty quick because it's bell-shaped and not flat and shallow. There's a difference here. You guys see that difference? If I do a completely zoomed out shot of this, right? You see how it's got that fall off going towards it? With the hard, flat, shallow beauty dish, you get even. with a more of a bell shape, look at this fall off you're getting, right? So it's not that one is different than, one is better than another. They're different. They're different modifiers. They're different shapes. They're going to do different things, right? Any new everyday carry tools? Not really. I do carry memory cards on me at all times now, SD and CF Express Type B, because I never know what they're going to put in my hands. But other than that, nothing really new, no. Man, I feel like my throat's killing me. Is the snow still snowing? Looks like it stopped snowing, so that's good. I mean, look, it is Netflix WWE debut night. This calls for a pizza. Right, Sean? Pizza tonight? Netflix? Netflix. Yeah, see? Yeah. No, yeah, look, it's important to see the comparisons, but it's more important that you understand what the tool's doing, and then you have to figure out what you're going after so you know what will apply it, right? So whenever somebody's like, my go-to setups, cool, grains of salt everywhere, see what's happening, but there's so much that's yours. Your decision, your personality, your perspective, your point of view, your style. Don't let anyone else dictate that. No tool is better than another. They're just gonna do different things here. When modifiers, look, I have modifiers that people have told me, oh, that's a piece of junk, and I love the thing. And they don't make it anymore. And I don't do demos with it because you guys can't get them, but there's plenty of stuff that's just complete garbage that I've used over the years because of exactly what it does. And if it causes a color shift, I know what I'm going into with it, right? So don't forget to hit subscribe on this channel, guys. There's 100 of you in this chat, 65 likes. Let's get those up. This channel must hit 10K, all right? That's the goal. Let's do the 10K. Keep watch because we're gonna start putting out compilations of past live streams in 3-hour-long runtime video type stuff. So keep watching that. You can put it on the background, let it run. I know you guys can't catch every live stream or sit on every single playlist, but share this around. I'm gonna be back here next Monday. I don't know what my topic's gonna be. I don't know what we're gonna shoot. Quinn's gonna be hanging out, of course. You guys only show up for Quinn, just like you only show up for Marissa, let's be honest. Everybody good? Everybody all right? A balloon and a pizza box, yeah. My kid's birthday party lighting setup. But do you guys understand what I'm saying to you, right? Like, don't look at like, oh, that's not a, the thing that I love is when snobby photographers go, oh, that's not a real parabolic. Shut up, look at what it's doing, interpret what it's doing, apply it if you want what it's doing. Shoot with intent, all right? Yeah, and you guys can, I just put out a video on my own channel this morning. If you guys wanna go check that out, you can check out my own channel, bada bing. You can check out some of my stuff on Instagram if you're new to this channel. If you're new to Adorama, if you're new to me, all my work is over there. Last X Witness on all social. Yell at me on Blue Sky, I'm over there now. I'm actually kind of digging the interface there. It's kind of nice. Charlie, didn't miss anything. This will be up after I am gone, so don't worry about that. I'll be back here next week. Oh, I'm changing the stream time. No more 2 o'clock. We're doing noon Eastern, okay? Noon Eastern. You can hang out with me on your lunch break or whatever, but just a little bit earlier. It gives me a lot of breathing room. Plus, sometimes there's a 5 o'clock stream and I don't want to cannibalize that. So noon from here on out. Mondays when I can. I will be at imaging at the end of this month, so I won't be here for the last week of January and the first week of February. But if you're going to be in Dallas for Imaging USA, we'll be doing live demos at the Adorama booth. Don't forget about that. You may or may not be able to get a Brooklyn reflector if you come by the Adorama booth. I'm just saying, you may or may not. I neither confirm nor deny, okay? Listen, I hope you guys are all in for an amazing new year. Don't forget to check out the Adorama events website and Adorama on Eventbrite. So if you're gonna be here in New York at all during 2025, stop by, say what's up, be paisan, you know? Hang out in the chairs. Dan will be here live. I keep on thinking Dan's like here and I can ask him. Daniel will be live on a Thursday coming up somewhere. And there's gonna be a lot more coming for sure, for sure. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead, hit subscribe. Be good to each other. Let's have a really good debut on Netflix tonight. Am I right? Am I right? And is there anything else I gotta tell you guys? I don't know. I think we're good, right? Events showing no coming. Yeah, so we're still getting going. Things are getting. There is a critique this month. Adorama critique with me and Daniel. You can submit your work. The link is in the Eventbrite. You can go check that out. That is not streamed. That will not be streamed. Okay, guys. All right. I guess that's it. So I got to come up with a dismount here, huh? I got to come up with a thing. Be good to each other. I'll see you on all the other stuff. And again, if you're new here, please hit subscribe. Let's get this channel to 10K. It would do my heart good. It would do everybody on the team who works very hard, their heart good. And I will see you guys on the next one. Later, guys. Peace.